Today we have updates on The First Omen, the I Know What You Did Last Summer requel, and Terrifier 3. Let's talk about all these banging updates right now. Almost there. We're almost to the updates. Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. My name is Godzilla, and today we're talking a little bit about horror movies and their updates and their private parts. Speaking of genitals, Godzilla Minus One is the first Godzilla movie ever to win an Oscar, which is huge, just like Godzilla's nutsack. Godzilla Minus One has made horror history by receiving the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects on Sunday. It's the first Oscar to ever go to a Godzilla movie, and one of the only times the Academy actually recognizes a good horror film. I'm still a little salty that Toni Collette didn't even get a nomination for 2018's Hereditary. This award even had the master of horror excited, John Carpenter, where he tweeted, "Incredible! Godzilla Minus One wins an Academy Award for special effects. In my lifetime, fantastic." A massive congratulations to the entire team behind Godzilla Minus One, but of course, especially the visual effects department. Oh my god, I haven't seen a blockbuster look that good in ages. I personally haven't been super impressed by some of the major blockbusters that have come out in the last 4 or 5 years, but Godzilla Minus One is one for the record books, ladies and gentlemen. This film is easily one of the best theater experiences I've had in recent memory. If you haven't seen it yet, you're simply missing out. Yesterday, a new trailer for The First Omen came out, which once again was very mysterious, ominous, and teases that this is gonna be the scariest horror film of the year. Oh, that's a big promise right there, buddy. 20th Century Studios' new prequel for The Omen comes out on April 5th and is rated R for violent content, grisly disturbing images, and brief graphic nudity. The plot description for this prequel reads, when a young American woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, she encounters a darkness that causes her to question her own faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil incarnate. I gotta be completely honest, I've never been the biggest fan of the Omen movies. My father claims that I watched a lot of them when I was a child because that's when he really started to get me into horror. It's probably why I'm so messed up today, but I really haven't had any interest in revisiting this franchise. I just don't remember being so fond of it. With that being said, everything I've seen about The First Omen screams success and something that's genuinely worth our time. The trailers and TV spots are incredibly ominous. I don't think they've given that much away. The cinematography is stellar and the performances are creepy. Usually when a film claims to be the scariest of the year, I chalk this up to, okay, they're just trying to hype up the movie so more people go to see it. But they're really starting to persuade me with how promising a lot of this marketing is. Maybe it's because horror has been incredibly disappointing in the last 3 months and I really want to hit, but I have a lot of faith in The First Omen here. I said omen like almond there, but still, I have a lot of faith in this movie. I think it's going to be really good and genuinely scary. You want to hear something embarrassing? The only scene in a movie that has scared me in 2024 so far is that dumb nail sequence in Imaginary. To close out this part of the update though, we really need a scary like exorcism or religious-based horror movie. I feel like I haven't seen one of those in a long time. The Pope's Exorcist was only good because it's kind of a self-parody. The Cleansing Hour has a phenomenal script, but I wouldn't call it the scariest thing I've ever seen. And The Exorcist Believer is, well, The Exorcist Believer. I think this movie could make some serious headway in that department, and that would make Jake very happy. Fingers crossed that this movie delivers on what its marketing promises. Julie James herself, Jennifer Love Hewitt, has just given us an update on the I Know What You Did Last Summer requel, basically confirming that she's going to be in this movie. You guys have heard me say that a lot recently because pretty much everyone involved with this project has confirmed that Julie James will return for the upcoming requel. Literally the last update I did on this movie, I was talking about how the writer of the film, Leah McKendrick, basically confirms that this movie would be impossible to make without Jennifer Love Hewitt returning. Now Jennifer has said some pretty interesting stuff though, let's talk a little bit about that. Discussing season 7 of her show 911 this past Monday to ET, Jennifer Love Hewitt also talks about her possible involvement with the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel, saying, "I can't confirm, but I won't deny. How about that?" She also adds that her character would be a lot older than she was, but still kick ass. Here's the truth, I don't actually know what they have planned, but I'm assuming that it'll be lots of screaming and running around. Hopefully the tops will be a little bigger than they were during the first movie. Okay, that's pretty funny. Now, this ET article that I'm using for this video video says that there's not a script in place already, but that kind of counters with what Leah McKendrick, the writer of this film, has already stated about it. To sum up my previous update, Leah McKendrick essentially says she doesn't want this to be a cash grab and she wants to make it for the longtime fans of that original movie. Not only does she softly confirm that Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. will most likely return for this film, but she also talks about how she wants to capture that same energy of hot people doing bad things. I personally agree with Leah McKendrick here. I think that's one of the many important things about what made I Know What You Did Last Summer so special to so many people. The thing is that I know a lot of you are going to disagree with this. I think we need a better script and some better twists this time around, because that's my biggest criticism of that original film. The dialogue is whack and the twist is kind of eh.
Daddy's gonna be mad. What can I do for you, Max? You can wipe that my shit don't stink grin off your face.
The one thing that original movie does focus on really well is exactly what Leah is talking about. It's just hot people doing bad things. And maybe that's enough for some people. Listen, I completely understand that. That's great and all. But I think that there is genuine room for improvement upon this film, which is why I'm all about making a requel and some kind of continuation where you can do it better. Hot take, I know. Some people love that movie. It's like one of their favorite horror movies of all time. I respect it. But I genuinely believe you can make a better version of that film. I think a requel could top that one. I think the majority of requels are considered by audience members to be worse than their predecessors, so it would be cool to see just something in this field, maybe top an original movie, something like I Know What You Did Last Summer that, once again, in my opinion, has room for improvement. I would love to see something like that happen for this franchise. That would be dope. And now for the update you've all been waiting for. Terrifier 3 just had a very weird and kind of confusing update that I can't wait to get into here. Multiple people who are working on Terrifier 3 currently have just posted about a very exciting scene they just shot. Producer Michael Levy posts on Instagram saying, "Last night was insane. We are really getting some amazing footage." Keep in mind, this is a post that came out on Sunday, so this is something that happened Saturday night. Around the same time, Art the Clown actor David Howard Thornton posted on both his Facebook and Threads accounts saying, "Just wrapped filming a killer opening scene for Terrifier 3, y'all." So here's where this gets confusing. I reported recently that they were filming in a house for some kind of sequence for Terrifier 3, but because he said opening scene, that technically conflicts with a previous update. Chris Jericho, who was recently confirmed to be in Terrifier 3, basically spoiled that he's going to be the opening kill. Regarding his fate in Terrifier 3, professional wrestler Chris Jericho says, "I have already kind of done the prep and prosthetics, the filming that they do when they're taking molds of your face and all this sort of thing. So suffice to say, I don't have a good, well, I don't last very long." This also kind of confirms that Terrifier 3 will do essentially the same thing as Terrifier 2, where we pick up right where we left off from the previous installment. Chris was also skiing in Colorado this past weekend via his Instagram account, so he wasn't filming for Terrifier 3. Now, this also conflicts with yet another previous update from director Damien Leone, where he stated that the first 5 minutes will be controversial. That quote reads, "The first 5 minutes of the movie, a studio would never let me film what I plan on filming. So mark my words, I guarantee you, the first 5 minutes of this movie is going to be very controversial." All right, listen, a clown killing a bunch of people very viciously and showing all the gore, that's controversial. But not to Damien Leone, okay? This is the guy that made Terrifier and Terrifier 2, man. Controversial has a very different definition when it comes to Damien. Pushing boundaries for this guy might be Art the Clown killing a child on Christmas morning, but I just don't think killing a very famous wrestler on screen for a little cameo appearance is going to make that cut. I just don't see it. So what could these first 5 minutes be that is apparently so controversial, and like how David Howard Thornton and Michael Levy have said, was a very exciting shoot? There's potentially a little missing piece of the puzzle here. The big conclusion I have here is that even if you're someone who's crazy like me trying to follow all of these updates, I still think we have a lot of big surprises coming for us this October. What do you guys think about all these fun updates though? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching these crazy horror updates. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future. Please consider supporting me on Patreon by clicking that link in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.